So, we're still talking about finding our voice. Remember when we grew up and we would say, sticks and stones may break our bones, but words will never hurt? Where did we get that from? Who started that? Many people are still dealing with childhood trauma based on words that were said. Even now, thanks to the internet and social media, words still hold power. And people are running, and there are young people now who are trying to figure out how to escape the words and the things that are said to them. While we told ourselves that as kids and we wanted to believe it, we knew it did not work. If words didn't matter, why did you have to encourage one another? Let's go back. Let's get biblical. If words didn't matter, the sun would not still be shining and rising just on the words that God spoke on a void earth that had nothing. He spoke those words, and every day, like clockwork, the sun operates the way it's supposed to be from the very beginning based on words. So when I tell you that your voice matters, your voice matters. Think about something or anything a person has ever said to you, and you didn't speak back to it. And because you said nothing, that word was the last thing you heard. That word was the last thing that stayed in your spirit, even if you did not feel like it was true. Even if you don't have the courage at this point to say it to the person, you have to speak it to yourself. If somebody says, oh my gosh, that's just the way she is. Even if you have to go in the bathroom in the mirror and go, no, I'm not. I am not the way they say that I am. I am not like so and so. I am not just like this. I am not negative. I am not who they say that I am. I have a voice. I don't have to agree with everything. I have a right to speak my voice. I have a right to my opinion. I have a right to my thoughts. I have a right to express my thought. You have to say those things, because if you don't, whatever is lying dormant, whatever word lies dormant and lies the longest and penetrates your thoughts, that is the word you will live by. Have you ever had an argument with somebody and you walked away, and in your mind you knew that what they said or that their thought wasn't correct, or that you had a different view of it, but maybe you didn't get to finish the argument. Maybe you didn't get to finish, and not even an argument, maybe you didn't get to finish the discussion. And years later, whenever they remember it, they still remember it that way. It is important. I tell people all the time, especially in relationships, to go back and revisit what you said, what you thought you heard, because many times what's actually being said is not what's being heard. I could say, I don't like that outfit. The person, depending on what they're dealing with and how they see themselves, could hear you're ugly, or that looks ugly on you, when that's not anything anywhere close to what I said. So we hear things based on how we perceive ourselves. If you're dealing with somebody who already has low self-esteem and they see themselves a certain way, something you say could be spoken one way and heard another way. Likewise, that's the same way you can hear things. A person can say one thing and you hear something else, which is why the voice is so important. I always tell everybody that I talk to that they need to develop to say this three-letter word all the time. Y'all hear that money sound, right? Okay, but anyway, they need to develop to use this three-letter word all the time. Why? Why? If somebody says something, why? Why do you feel like that? Why did you say that? And then follow up with, did you mean to say that? I heard this and the way I took it was this. Do you know how many people walk around trying to quote and trying to live by and trying to live up to something that somebody else said when they really didn't understand it? I do that all the time to people when they say something and they respond a certain way, because if I'm listening to them and I'm not invested in it. So I might hear it just like the person said it with no attitude. But then when you're telling it to me, you're upset, and I'm trying to figure out why, when you may have just heard it based on how you felt in the moment. That's why follow-up questions are so important. They are important in relationships. Your voice is important. It is crazy to me how many marriages, how many people have separated. I can speak in my own marriage that one thing we thought was being said or the person was saying versus what they really were saying. And you walk away from a conversation mad or walk away confused or sometimes walk away thinking we're on the same page and you're not even on the same page. And it's all due to communication and words that you don't say, words that you think but you don't say. I tell my sons all the time, do not assume that, okay, well, you said this and I thought this is what you meant. Ask. Men and women think differently. Men and women process differently. Men and women can say the same words and it still not mean the same thing. That's why your voice is important. If you do not use your voice, if you do not speak, if you do not say something, if you do not ask for clarity, if you do not speak up, you will lose an opportunity to bridge a gap or to build a relationship or to build on a relationship or to fix something or to have a great relationship. You can go through several women and as a man and think it's all the women and women are all crazy when you just don't speak up. As a woman, you can think that all men are the same way when all it is that you don't have a voice. Do you know how many people go into lifelong commitments? They talk about marriage. They think about marriage. Heck, they get married and they still don't know how to communicate with one another. They think that as long as they are silent, that is the way you get through it and that's how you're happy when they are miserable. Do you know how many people have yielded their voice? They have given it up. They have stopped the fight and they're still not happy. That's because your voice matters. When you speak, you are investing into whatever you're speaking into. Whether you're speaking into another person, whether you're speaking to a relationship, whether you're speaking to an idea, whether you're speaking to a situation, your voice is an investment. And where there is no investment, you cannot reap a harvest. We're in harvest season. Many people are looking and expecting a harvest when their voice has not even shown up. Your voice unlocks doors. Your voice clears up bad communication, bad ideas. Your voice is speaking and going into tomorrow, declaring and setting your tomorrow to be better than your today. Your voice is unlocking your full potential. Your voice is setting you up for the next level. Your voice matters. And it is important that you use your voice and use it wisely. Remember, victoriously outspoken, initiating creative and corrective. Oh, I just added one. Corrective environments. You don't want to keep saying we can identify a toxic environment. Now let's create some corrective environments. It's been your girl. Bye-bye.